What's up, Queen?
Hey, everything is everything,
And
huh?
everything is
Everything. So no.
absolutely good
And peace and blessings to you all. Thank you again for tapping in on another Tuesday at the Roundtable Talk here on the Knowledge is Power Podcast Live. Again, we appreciate you whether you're watching us live on YouTube, Facebook, or catching up the replay on YouTube or listening through the Knowledge is Power podcast on every platform. um, you know, I just definitely want you to know that uh, we appreciate you, whether you're working, driving, or trying to make sense of the entire week. We thank you for being here. Um, of course, this space only works because people show up intentionally, not accidentally. And tonight, what matters more than ever um, is just that, right? Welcome to the Roundtable Talk Show. Like I said, I'm your host, Christopher Unk Jones. And what we do here is simple, but not easy. We slow the conversation down long enough to tell the truth. We sit with discomfort instead of running from it, right? And we talk about the things that don't make it into headlines or sound bites or group chats, right? So tonight, this episode is one that will hopefully linger, not because it's shocking, but because it's honest. Again, this episode is not about one agency, it's not about one policy, it's not about one administration, one headline, or a moment in the news cycle. This episode is about power, the kind that does not announce itself, because across history and in the present, systems that disrupt social, economic, and political life do not survive on force alone. They survive on participation. And so I just want us to know that they survive because workers keep clocking in, because students keep showing up, because money keeps being circulated, especially not amongst ourselves, and silence fills the space where resistance could live. And when fear enters the picture, participation starts to feel like survival. When disruption is punished, withdrawal gets framed as irresponsible, right? And when people are exhausted, endurance get mistaken for strength. So tonight, we are not here to rehash what happened, and our condolences are definitely to the recent individuals that were murdered by our ICE agents. Um, but again, from a community that sees this on a consistent basis, um, in our community against our people. Um, in some spaces our empathy has sort of kind of toned down. Again, we're here to talk about what can be done though, what has to be done, what has to be done to move us in the present, and what has been done before, right? And what neighbors, workers, parents, and communities must seriously consider, again, because here's the truth: we rarely say plainly, if the system depends on our participation, our withdrawal is not weakness, it's leverage. So this is not a cause to chaos, a call to chaos. This is not rhetoric or reckless language. This is a call to discipline, collective lawful distribution when systems or and distribution and disruption when systems no longer save um, humans or serve human dignity, right? So let's set the table properly. Of course, I'm always grateful to have someone to big in this work with me. And of course, with me this evening is Dr. Campbell, who brings moral clarity, lived experience, and the ability to name what power avoids without flinching. Dr. Campbell, say good evening to the people.
Good evening.
Of course, my other co-host Perry Busby, who understands systems, economics, and how decisions move long before people fear their effects. Um, he may not be able to tip in. There's a internet outage in his area, so we definitely going to be pulling up his shots on this evening, Dr. Campbell.
Gotcha.
Absolutely. And my battle buddy, Dustin Harris, who keeps us honest about generational impact, cultural habits, and what we're molding, whether we mean to or not. I hope Dustin jumps in. And of course, if he doesn't, we'll be taking his shots too. So we're going to be good and tipsy on this evening.
Punch drunk.
And of course, my platform host may let someone in from the audience. You are always welcome to voice your opinions here. But I just definitely want you to know, be prepared to dialogue. So without further ado, let's pull up these shots, Dr. Campbell. You ready?
Ready.
Absolutely. So I got my notes off to the side, but when does your shot is, Dr. Campbell, when does participation stop being neutral and start becoming harmful?
Well, it starts to become harmful when you realize that the system is broken.
Hmm.
And then you have quiet resistance that says, uh, or quiet presence that says, this is fine. It becomes harmful when you're no longer just there, but you're being used to give a broken thing the appearance of being okay. It's dangerous.
Absolutely. 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 And, you know, participation stops being neutral the moment it protects harm instead of challenge it, right?
It does.
When our attendance normalized injustice, like you said, oh, it's okay. When our labor sustains something or some things we know is breaking people, not just us, but people as a collective, right? And when our silence allows discussions to be unchallenged, right? Just like a few shows ago, we had our city manager and our city attorney on the show, and a lot of things that were in the narrative or being spread as the narrative in the public was not being challenged because of course their stories, their truths were not being able to be told. um so and then there's no longer a neutral flavor or behavior to what should be expected, right? So for me, that's participation with consequences. And you've already said that a few shows ago. Strategic participation, right? Um, Understanding that there are consequences to our withdrawal, our actions, or inactions. And so I just definitely appreciate you letting us know whether we admit it or not. We may say some things quietly in the small circle, but you know, some of those things don't hit home for a lot of people. Here's Perry shot, Queen. We gonna tap on that one too. Put some tahine on it because I know you like tahine.
I
Oh.
do.
We'll put some tahine on it. What part of daily life quietly fuel systems people claim to oppose?
Well, you fuel it with your quiet daily habits like scrolling feeds that thrive on outrage, buying cheap things that rely on exploitation, using apps that sell your attention and data, driving everywhere because the alternative is a hassle, staying silent because conflict is uncomfortable. The system runs on these tiny doses of your compliance.
Mm.
So it continues.
I agree. Routine, predictability, uh, reliability. And just like you said, what are my options in all of those spaces, right? Work schedule, school attendance, consumer habits. Not because those things are evil, but because they are dependable, right?
Right.
Systems don't fear anger. They don't care whether you mad that you got to pay $9 for 6 eggs. They don't care. Systems don't care. The system don't care. But I do want you to know that the system fears unpredictability. Axe
Start
Target.
walking instead of driving.
Yes. Yes.
That's economic.
Yeah. Take the city bus. It's compressed natural gas. I'm just saying.
That's true.
Um, go to the one stop shop on 11th Street and get you an electric scooter. Shameless plug to one stop shop, Maurice. I see you, fam. um, but these systems fear unpredictability, and as long as they as everything keeps moving on time, opposition stays manageable. So we find ourselves in the situation that we're in because we're participating in the system. This is Dustin Shot Queen. I'm almost tipsy already, right? How
I can
has
handle it.
yeah, see, but you
I'm
my
gonna put you under
elder.
the table tonight. Here.
Yes, indeed. Somebody I talked to somebody in today that told me they saw you and asked you, was you ready for them shots tonight? Dustin shot is how has survival mode trained people to endure instead of disrupt?
Well, survival mode teaches you to shrink. It trades your long term anger for short term peace. It makes you grateful for scraps instead of demanding the whole meal. Your focus you focus on getting through the day, not changing the system. It trains you to see exhaustion as normal and risk as a luxury you can't afford.
I
Mm.
agree. I
You
agree.
learn to Yeah, you learn to endure because disruption looks like a threat to your basic stability. The system thrives on that type of calculation.
Correct. Correct. Absolutely correct. You're absolutely correct. Um, Tony, if you could hear us, could you turn down the music some more, please, sir? If you could hear us, Tony, turn the rock music down a little bit. Appreciate it. Um, yes, Dr. Campbell. I did hear some little it was like a little buffering, but you're absolutely correct. Survival mode teaches people to keep their head down, right? Um,
Exactly.
especially like you said, to be grateful just to make it through the week. um, to not risk stability even when that stability is harming them. Eh, you know?
Exactly.
Um, but I just definitely want us to know endurance without strategy becomes slow and steady erasure, period. And
And it makes you comfortable with it. Oh no.
exactly, exactly. And it even has some people believing that they are winning.
Mm.
We've been conditioned to survive systems. We were never meant to survive under forever, though. Um, some of these conditions, again, like I said, that we're starting to see play out in the global community or in the United States communities at large, uh, now people want to figure out what can be done, but there was no actions when it was being done to other people of less interest, I guess. Um,
Mhm.
my shot is, if you don't mind pouring me up, Queen. Let me see.
At what point does continuing to show up become a moral decision,
Yeah.
not just a practical one?
For me, the moment the moment harm is happening, right? The moment you see it, the moment you can identify harm is happening. If you come home and you identify that your sixth grade child cannot read and comprehend, the moment you know harm is happening, you make effort to change that and keep participating because it's easier than confronting it, right? um that's no longer practicality. It's your participation. You allowing your sixth grade um, child to be promoted through schools without having reading and comprehension skills, and you could just imagine that if it's not just your child, of course, it's many that are in that space. So you know where's your morality when when those things come into play, especially when some of those things again aren't practical, they're personal. And then every generation eventually has to answer to the question, honestly, why am I left in this state? Why is this what we have to build on or to engage in?
How
Go
did we
ahead,
get?
Queen, get some of that.
How did we get here? You're saying how did we get here? And you got here because you saw the harm, but you let it continue. You didn't sit instead of recognizing that your child instead of just not just recognizing that your child couldn't read, but you didn't sit down and spend 30 minutes to allow your child to read to you. You just let it happen anyway. You just let it go on and say, "Oh, it's okay. He'll be all right." It's wrong.
It's the teacher's job.
It's the teacher's job. Yeah. No.
But that that's a question that our future is going to ask us, and I don't know if anybody in our community, especially in the masses, are willing to answer that question. The roundtable question for this particular round is, if systems rely on participation more than approval, where do communities actually hold power right now? Dr. Campbell, you have the floor.
And the quiet daily choice not to participate. So power is in the walkout, the boycott, the digital strike. It's workers refusing extra hours for no pay. It's neighbors shopping local instead of at the monopoly. It's people logging off platforms that spread hate. Real power
Hmm.
is something else while letting the old system starve. It's not in petitions, it's in the missing customer, the empty shift, the ignored feed.
Yes, I totally agree. I totally agree, especially with the national neighbors, our some of our national neighbors calling for a complete withdrawal, right?
Mhm.
Because of some of the things that our government is allowing, is doing, is perpetuating, that don't align with not only the people but the Constitution that governs us, right? And so, I just I would like to say communities hold power in coordination. It has to happen in coordination, not in outrage, not in awareness alone, and not in individual bravery. We've seen how they've treated individuals like us in the masses. And we see how they're treating individuals currently in the masses. So, um, individual bravery is not ideal at this particular time, especially under the orange cancer and his rogue government. Yeah, that's what he's identified as. Because orangutans are smart. They is
They
kind
are.
and they is understanding. But no, in shared timing, shared risk and shared refusal, that has to happen. Power listens when participation becomes unpredictable. And as of right now, we're very predictable because our dependencies are based on predictabilities from
Compliance.
corporate entities and other social norms or economic norms. They know what we're gonna buy around this particular time. They got Valentine's stuff out, and it was Christmas or New Year's, and so you know they anticipate on your participation, and it's predictable. Um, but now it's time to throw a cog in that. Round two for the shots. You ready? You ready, Queen? I'm gonna
Oh,
pull Perry shot up first.
okay.
All right. Um, why is withdrawal framed as irresponsible while endurance is praised?
Why is withdrawal framed as irresponsible? Okay. Because the system needs you in your seat to function. Endurance is praised because it's predictable. It keeps the wheels turning. Withdrawal is called irresponsible because it makes the machine shudder. That makes it a threat. Bosses call it loyalty when you endure burnout. They call it quiet quitting when you withdraw
Mm-hmm.
your extra labor. It's not about what's right. It's about what keeps you in line. Praise and endurance is how they sell your compliance back to you as a virtue.
Right. Right. Even
Gaslight you.
I mean, and even throw you under the bus when it's time to pay the piper. Don't y'all see
Yeah.
what's going on with ICE?
Mm.
Have y'all not heard what happened to or what's happening to some of the individuals based on other federal courts and state courts? That's why many individuals, veterans, and service members told other active duty service members, hey, don't follow no unlawful order because at the end of the day, UCMJ coming back to get you.
Mm.
Because, you know, for me, endurance keeps systems stable. Withdrawal introduces uncertainty, and uncertainty for any government and individual is expensive. That's very costly because either I overbought in inventory or I over budgeted in labor, or but it's expensive. So we're taught that compliance is maturity, that silence is responsibility, that disruption is reckless. Oh, you can't boycott. Don't do that. Even when I was going to David Crockett Middle School as a young person, as young people rather, we were told, no, y'all don't disrupt like that. Y'all don't boycott the school. Y'all gotta go in there and be in there and be ready to learn. If we would have stuck to the plan as some of our seniors and elders in the community at the time told us to, we would not have Dr. Martin Luther King Middle School or the Dr. Martin Luther King campus, period. You understand that? It took students to boycott the system. And we knew butts not in the seat at second period means you don't get no funding.
That's right.
So if you can't give us a conducive space to be educated, we'll cut you where it hurt. Funding. So, you know, again, like I said, we're taught that compliance is maturity and that silence is responsibility and that disruption is reckless, even when disruption is the only thing that ever works. You ready for Dustin shot?
Yes.
Dustin shot. Let me see. I'm sorry, I lost my space. Dustin shot is what risks do individuals fear most when considering non-participation?
They risk they fear losing their paycheck, their health insurance, their security. They uh think about being seen as difficult or ungrateful and not a team player. They fear the unknown and what comes after that no, after they done said no. The guilt of letting others down, even if the system is broken. It's the fear of trading a known hardship for a frightening uncertainty.
Yeah,
The system counts on that fear being stronger than the desire for change.
absolutely, absolutely. And didn't Dustin tell y'all in a word of the for the week, Patriot? Not everybody, not everybody aligns with things that
Hmm.
are patriotic. I definitely want to say retaliation, economic pressure, isolation, being labeled as selfish or ungrateful, just like you said. Oh, y'all have no idea what y'all doing. That's why withdrawal cannot be individuals alone. It becomes martyrdom instead of strategy, right?
Right.
Um,
The personal costs are way too great, so you have
yes,
a lot to consider.
yes, indeed, Queen. Yes, indeed. I'm glad you said that. Your shot. You ready?
Ready.
Awesome. So, how do moral pressure keep people in harmful systems?
It makes leaving feel like it's a betrayal. Um, it can look like it's a call to duty or loyalty, and maybe not abandoning the team. It
Hmm.
frames endurance as a moral strength, and walking away as a selfish, irresponsible act. It makes you feel guilty or choosing your own well being over a broken machine. It uses your goodness against you. The system trades your conscience for keeping you in your seat.
I totally
Gaslight.
agree. Gaslighting, blowing smoke, smoke and
Yeah,
mirrors. I
all that.
mean, especially by like you said, by flipping the blame, you're told you're hurting others by withdrawing. Oh, people gonna lose their jobs. People already losing their jobs. Here it is. We got maybe what 3, 4 days before y'all could actually fund the freaking government.
Hmm.
You're told you're hurting others by withdrawing, even when the system itself is causing the harm. Make that
And
make
and it's
sense.
hurting everybody. And we're all standing around the water cooler complaining. We're all hurting. Yeah.
Yes, indeed. That guilt is intentional and they press it and pull it on us so that we can continue to go through the system. It keeps people trapped in cycles they already know are broken.
Keeps that warm body in that seat of
Correct.
uncomfortability.
Correct. Um, my shot. You gonna pull me up?
Okay. Who benefits most when
Mm.
people believe they have no choice but to comply?
Um, every system that profits from predictability. That's who benefits the most. Every system that profits from predictability. Just like I said, in quarters, they know what you're gonna do. Uh in severe storms and weather predictions or environmental predictions. They know what you're gonna do. I remember not too long ago they recently posted a hoax that on August 16th or something like that, we was gonna lose gravity for 7 seconds. It's a hoax, y'all. We're not gonna lose gravity for 7 seconds. And if
Gaslight.
we do, look, and if we do, that's the will of God. That's the will of the Most High. You just better hope you got yourself situated and prepared, even in that. But every system that profits from predictability is the one that benefits the most, Queen. If we believe there is no alternative, we will never test the limits of our own power. We'll continue to stay the same cycle, stay the course, live in the rut that they put us in on
Mhm.
purpose. Um, the roundtable question, unless you wanted to add something, go ahead. You could take some of
No.
my shot.
Oh, that's good. You did well.
Oh man. Um, roundtable question number two is what would disciplined lawful withdrawal actually look like? And what would it require from us as a collective? What would it require from us collectively? Dr. Campbell, you have the floor.
It would look like a coordinated slow motion slowdown. Um, it's workers strictly following their union contract and clocking out on time, not working 2 minutes extra. It's customers consistently choosing local over a giant chain. It's communities building mutual aid networks before, I'm sorry, communities building mutual aid networks before a crisis hits.
Mhm.
It's a mass digital detox from a harmful platform. It requires solidarity, agreeing not to cross the picket line, digital or real. It requires planning, which is going to include building alternatives so people
Mhm.
aren't left stranded. It requires courage to endure short term discomfort for long term change together. It's not a 1 day protest, it's the deliberate, collective decision to redirect your participation somewhere else lawfully but unignorable.
Exactly. Exactly.
And because it takes time, that's why I said a slow motion process.
Exactly. And to add, I would definitely like to say it would require, just like she said, it requires planning instead of panic. We
Right.
cannot think straight. I mean, and this is something that even the military trains us with. And my battle buddy ain't here on this evening, but I guarantee you, any person that went to the military will tell you they want you planning instead of panicking. They want you on point at every time because anything can happen at any time. And the second you panic, lives are lost and your position is compromised. The deal, the duties is compromised. The mission is compromised on a second of panic.
You better
Support
have a plan
systems,
A and a plan B.
exactly. Exactly. And if neither one of them work, be on your feet to always think, always be almost like MacGyver we see on the TV. And I know those types of personalities are developed personalities. Those are honed in personalities, skills that people can assess, right? MacGyver is not nobody exempt from our normal community. Um, Again, support systems instead of slogans. Like Dr. Campbell said, we have to have support system in place for those individuals that say, okay, well, I'm out. I'm not going to work no more. How are we going to help them take care of their household for the sacrifice they made for the greater good? Some of us got to be willing to lose our life, especially if it's discipline and we are disciplined and we're seeing chaos on the opposite side. Some of us have to be willing to go to jail. I heard Pops in one of his stand-up comedy shows joke about getting hit with a billy stick. Some of us are gonna have to stand in the gap to get hit with a billy stick. Several. I pulled it up on the on online today. It says 8 people have died in dealings with ICE so far in 2026. Eight people, and we're only in February, the third day of February, might I add.
So that means we've only had what 5 weeks of the year.
Yeah, yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
That's more than a person a week.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Keith Porter Jr., Luis Gustavo, Geraldo Campos, Victor Diaz, Parde La, Renee Nicole Good, Luis Cruz, Mr. Aber Sanchez Dominguez, Alex Petty which was I think the latest victim,
Right. It was the last one. Yes.
and that doesn't that's just the ones that we saw in public, not the ones that's in detention camps that's dying, y'all. I mean, but again, this is the system we paid into. This is the system we played into. So, shared timelines instead of individual heroics. We definitely have to do this on a collective. Um, and again, the discipline that we need within community is the understanding that withdrawal isn't walking away. It's standing still together until power has to respond, it has to react, and in a manner that is tasteful and acceptable to we the people. Period. Period. Our shots, round 3. You tipsy yet?
Round 3. No.
Man, I will say, Queen, the dialogue around these shots in these linguistic shots, these thought processing shots. I mean, I didn't know that the rest of our crew was not going to be on, but we are we are definitely eating it up. Okay, I just want you to know, and I thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Um, the shot we're gonna start with Dustin's shot this round, and I want the chaser to be, instead of tahini. That's what the chaser gonna be a little salt, if you don't
Oh,
mind. I mean,
I like that.
we gonna dress it. We gonna dress it with salt.
And lemon
Um,
or lime.
Lime, please.
Okay.
Cool. What support systems must exist before withdrawal is possible?
Well, you have to have a safety net that you can actually fall into. So to begin with, uh, and they might want to get a pencil right here so that they can list this
Come on,
down.
take notes.
Okay, here's how you're gonna build your safety net. You're gonna have material support. You're going to have a strike fund, shared food and resources, and a plan for rent and bills. Okay. Then you're going to have community backup, and that is going to entail people who you trust to watch your kids,
Hmm.
share information, and make sure no one faces the backlash alone. So we're all looking out for each other, right?
Right,
And
right.
then the alternative is somewhere else to put your energy, money, and time, like a local co op, a new platform, or a worker owned business. Withdrawal isn't sustainable unless it, well, I'm sorry. Withdrawal isn't sustainable if it means a free fall. It requires a parallel system built together that watches people. It turns a personal risk into a shared power now.
Exactly. Wow. Wow, I didn't think you was gonna hit that like that, Queen. I mean, Dustin would be proud.
We Why, thank you. But we
Dustin would
we
be
have to
proud.
have an alternative that works for everybody, right?
Exactly. Exactly. Mutual, like, mutual aid, legal education, economic preparation, community trust, or community land trusts, so that nobody can come get your property, whether you were able to pay your taxes or not. Disruption without support collapses quickly. I just definitely want y'all to know that. Dr. Campbell, your shot. You ready?
Ready?
How do communities withdraw without abandoning the vulnerable?
By building the alternative first. Huh? Okay, so you don't just walk out and leave people to fend for themselves. You, number one, you create a mutual aid network. Pool your
Mm-hmm.
resources for food, housing, and healthcare before the
Mm-hmm.
crisis hits. Number two, you withdraw strategically, target the system, not the services, boycott the corporation, but organize the community rides for those who still need them.
Mm-hmm.
And you prioritize the most vulnerable. Let their needs guide the plan. Withdrawal becomes a collective act of care, not abandonment. It
Right.
means shifting support from the broken system to each other. So no one is left holding the bag and the community becomes a new safety net.
100%. 100%. And y'all should have took notes right there too. Because by withdrawing together, it's not selectivity. It's not selectively. I mean, oh, we're gonna do this one, we're not gonna do that one. No, this is where it said this is who we doing, this is how we boycotting, this is how we moving. You with me or
Right.
no? Because solidarity builds safety nets before applying pressure, right? Like you said, we're then able to support our community because we have these things already in place. We're able to support our neighbors because we have these things in place. If we so choose to withdraw from schools, that's okay because we have this space already designated that's doing after schools currently,
Right.
building their intellect, right?
Right.
So you're absolutely correct. Don't withdraw from the system without having something already in place. I also
Right.
hear some of our elders say, "Don't quit no job until you got
Yeah.
some more
So
money in
you
your
have
pocket."
one. That's right.
um, we're gonna take on Perry's shot. Um, his shot is what economic preparation is necessary for sustaining non-participation.
Okay. So you have three things, pencil and paper. Three things that are necessary for economic preparation are a shared fund, money pooled together to cover rent, food, and bills for those who withdraw. And this is going to be called your strike fund. Number two is basic needs secured. And that's going to be a plan for housing, food, and medical care that doesn't depend on the system that you're leaving.
Mm-hmm.
And then number three, an alternative economy. Ways to trade goods and services within your community so you're not just starving out, you're building in and you're
Correct.
supporting each other.
Correct.
It's not
Correct.
just a personal savings, it's a collective resource. The goal is to replace the system's paycheck with community support so people can afford to say no and build together.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. 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 Um, Give me just a second. Let me prepare these questions for the chat right fast. Um,
Because I had one and that other one.
yes, indeed. Where was I? That was your shot, or
That was my shot. So it's
yeah,
your shot
that's the
now
shot.
or the other one.
Okay,
So here, I'm gonna go with yours.
okay.
If we keep conditions, if we keep hoping conditions improve without leverage, what are we teaching the next generation? Tread carefully.
And I mean, very careful, eggshells
Yeah.
almost. We're
Yeah.
teaching endurance without agency, without
Mhm.
governance, right?
Mhm.
Patience without power. We're teaching
Mhm.
survival without dignity and restraint. It's just survival of the fittest, and that's not the moment we're in, right? Um, so if we can't teach legacy, if we can't teach the lineage, if we can't teach the 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 avenues that should be or the standards that should be, I just want individuals to know that that's not legacy. You're not leaving me a daggum thing, or the next generation. You're not leaving us nothing. That's surrender
Except
before we
powerlessness.
even exactly. And that's them surrendering before we even get the opportunity to assess the situation, let alone engage, right? And so
Mhm.
that's what happens when we keep hoping for conditions to improve and we not seeing anything engaging and or engage to, I mean, like at least initiate
You
improvement.
teach them to expect not to change. They learn to
Exactly.
just adjust their expectations, and
Exactly.
that's really dangerous
Correct. Correct. Correct.
because that's like
Um,
resetting your boundaries, and that can really be dangerous.
exactly. Exactly, Queen. Very dangerous. I'm looking in the chat. I see it's I, Jimmy the Squirrel. welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to tuning in. Thank you for tuning in. Rick Sticks, I would greatly appreciate you from Montreal, Canada. Hope you all have a blessed rest of the week as well. And thanks again for tuning in. Let me drop this chat question for y'all right fast. This is considered to be a reflection check. Which which form of participation holds the most leverage? Put a one in the chat for labor, put a two in the chat for educational systems, put a three in the chat for consumer spending, put a four in the chat for silence, and put five in the chat for all of the above. Drop your number if you will, and I'll also copy that for you all in the chat. Um, Dr. Campbell, you want to respond?
You said what now?
Um, Reflection check. Which form of participation holds the most leverage? Labor, one. Education systems, two. Consumer spending, three. Silence, four. Or all of the above, five.
I thought about that for a little while, and I felt like the the form that affected the community the most is the consumer spending. Because when the economics fail, everything does.
Hmm. I want you to know right now.
So
Um,
that's what I thought, and I thought that was first, and
yeah.
then labor. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Um, Rick Stick says from the chat, his response was five, all of the above. Rick say all of them.
I agree with that as well, but I'm just saying, like in
It
order.
has to
That
be in
that that,
step,
that was
right?
the order that I would give. Yeah.
Uh-huh. I agree. I agree. The second chat question we have for you all, drop your number in the chat again, is again, it's another reality check that we test in the the community with, and that is what stops people from withdrawing first. Put a one in the chat if it's fear of retaliation. Put a two in the chat if it's financial dependency. Put a three in the chat for lack of coordination. Put a four in the chat for social pressures, and put a five in the chat if you believe it's all of the above. Again, what stops people from withdrawing first? Dr. Campbell, you want to test that out?
The
What's your
paycheck
number?
first.
Hmm.
I'm gonna say the paycheck first, and then the social pressure or feeling alone
Hmm.
is second, and then the blank page of not knowing what to do when you leave.
Exactly. Um, Chat question number three, and then we'll get to our roundtable question, Queen. I want the chat to finish this. Finish this. Fill in the blank, if you will. Um, Real power begins when people blank. One, stop asking permission. Two, coordinate risk. Three, withdraw together. Four, refuse normalization. Or five, all of the above. Drop your number. Drop your number. Dr. Campbell, you want to try that? You want to test that out? Give me your opinion. What's your number, Queen?
I'm gonna say withdraw together
Hmm.
because now we already have a parallel system in place. We've already built the alternative. We reset,
Correct.
and then we just strategically leverage each all the others
Yes. I agree.
strategically. Yeah.
I agree. To the last check question. Um, yes, again, drop your number, let us know. Roundtable question. Um, what must neighbors be willing to sacrifice temporarily or permanently to reclaim the real power? Dr. Campbell, you have the floor.
Comfort and convenience. First of all, comfort temporarily, yeah, comfort and convenience temporarily is the case of one click shopping. Stop doing it. The habit of scrolling. Stop doing it. The quiet of not speaking up, and the security of the predictable but unfair routine.
Hmm.
And then sacrifice permanently the illusion that someone else will fix it. The idea that your individual choice doesn't matter, and the dependency on systems that were never built for your well-being anyway.
Anyway,
Anyway, it means trading comfort, the comfort of compliance, for the messy, difficult work of building something real together. The
absolutely.
sacrifice is stability as you know it, but what you reclaim is autonomy.
I totally agree. Man, you came with it. You came with it tonight, Greg. You came with it tonight. For me, it's just like you said, comfort, convenience, and like I've been saying all night, predictability. As much as they can predict what you're doing, they know how to, they know you, they know you, and they'll use everything that they know against you. either in the court of law or in these spaces that we're talking about withdrawing from, right?
That's
Um,
right.
Power has never reclaimed without risk, never been reclaimed without risk. I guarantee you, my ancestors did not know civil rights was going to look like this. And now
But they
it's
were
on the
willing to take the risk.
exactly. They didn't know it was going to look like this, but they and what we also have to understand is that civil rights didn't only play a role in this country, on this land. It is a global effect. So power has never been reclaimed without risk. I just want y'all to know that. What are we willing to risk as a collective?
Not
What is
risk, but not just risk, but also sacrifice.
and reclaim?
Exactly.
Because there has to be some reclamation there. But I just want us to know it always have been lost through quiet participation. You're not gonna get it by quiet participation. Strategic participation is what this requires and is requested. And the time is now. Whether we're being retaliated on because of the Epstein files is open and some of them still short, or whatever the case may be, whatever our government, our whatever the reason is, we must withdraw, step back, reassess, reclaim, and or just just understand that that's no longer a power that we have access to, and chop it out. Especially because I guarantee you, if we don't do something to buffer the things that we've seen under this administration from ever happening again, you think that this democracy is fragile? You think that this republic democracy is fragile? The litmus test was two terms ago, two presidents ago. Dr. Campbell, you ready to give us something for the rest of the week?
Don't just blend in. Be the stubborn seed that grows in the cracks.
Hmm.
The word tells us don't conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind.
Amen.
Change starts when you stop agreeing to what's broken.
Packed with kapow.
Build your parallel system. Yeah.
Packed with kapow. That's epic. Um, I'm sure Dustin would have us a word for the week. I'm sure Perry would definitely have us some things to think about as well. Dr. Campbell, I hope people took advantage of the things and discussions that we had on this evening. Family, tonight wasn't about telling you what to do. That's not what we do. That's not what we're here for. We don't tell you what to do. It was about telling the truth, um, especially around the things that we are seeing currently. Participation is a choice, y'all. 100%. Your choice at that. And withdrawal is a strategy. It requires one. And history is very clear when it comes to these particular conversations, plannings, and activations. Systems don't change because people complain. They change when people stop participating in what harms them together as a collective. I mentioned the civil rights because it was a collective. I should have mentioned women's rights because that too was a
Was a
collective.
collective. Yeah.
So as we move through this week, I definitely want you to ask yourself, what am I showing up for? Because if you die today or tomorrow, will this entity still be in existence? 9 times out of 10, yes. Especially if it's somebody else you're making rich. I'm more than certain they will replace your presence with another. Even if you sick, some people don't even pass. They just be sick for extended periods of time, and you ended up getting taken completely off the schedule after you are well, got a doctor's excuse saying that you could return to work. We see a takeover in our school district and wonder, what is this really about? And there are moments where we should have spoken up or withdrew, rewrote, and reclaimed some of the power that we have, especially when it comes to educating our community, our future. Think about the things that we allow not only our children to participate in across the board. And that goes from phones scrolling, just like Dr. Campbell said. That goes from listening to certain musics that's not conducive to where you're trying to take your child, or where you're hoping that your child will go. So, ask yourself those questions: what I'm showing up for, and what is it costing me as a collect and my community as a collective. So I want y'all to stay vigilant, y'all. Do not fear. Do not live in fear. Be practical, and use some of these practices that we've mentioned to you on this evening. Because again, we're only in this system because of our participation. So, as always, stay prayed up, stay prayed up, stay prayed up. Thank y'all for watching. God bless. Good night.